You know, the film community is really awesome. There's tons of information dating back quite a few years on pretty much any camera that, you know, you could think of or that you could ever want to. We're starting to face this unique problem that really only is becoming relevant now the farther and farther away we get from when film cameras were first being manufactured. So it's time for an unfortunate reality check. A really important one though, something that everybody I think needs to hear. That camera you want, it's old. It's really old. And with age comes lots of complications. Stuff starts to break down and parts start to fail. Leatherettes shrink and lubricants solidify and gum up your camera. Chances are that old film camera you're about to buy needs a little TLC. Expecting a truly mint condition camera to arrive at your door from eBay, it's a bit of a pipe dream, no matter how many plus signs are in the title. Those cameras that you see pop up on Instagram and on Reddit, those crazy mint condition finds where someone pulled it out of their uncle's grandfather's attic in immaculate condition. Think about how lucky that is. That camera, against all odds, was stored in a perfect set of conditions and untouched for probably decades. And even then, the lubricants and the seals in that camera are probably breaking down. Remind yourself that when you see those, you're witnessing a single drop in the ocean of broken film cameras. I'm not saying that lucky finds still don't happen. I've had my fair share, and I consider myself very fortunate to have found some really awesome cameras in really good shape for not a lot of money. But counting on that is unrealistic. We all know that film is getting more and more expensive to shoot, and prices are probably only going to go up from here. So it's more important now than ever to really know what you're getting yourself into when you go to buy a film camera.
I was actually originally going to make an entire other video about getting this camera, this Olympus stylus zoom, except all of the shots from the test roll came out like this. So, thought it would be more appropriate to put here.
This is the nature of the game at this point. These old cameras can break at any time, for any reason. I've had it happen to me where a camera only makes it a few rolls before it needs a servicing. I see a lot of recommendations these days for mechanical cameras, cameras that have as little electronic components as possible. And I totally see the merit in those recommendations. The point of view here is that fully mechanical cameras are going to be easier to service than cameras with electronic components. And that does not mean that you can't have cameras with electronic components serviced. You definitely can. I have multiple times. But there's a big asterisk next to the biomechanical point of view. A large majority of the purely mechanical film cameras are some of the oldest cameras around, with some exceptions, of course, but for the most part, they're really old. For example, the Yashica 635 that I have here ended production in 1959, making it at least just over 60 years old, versus the Minolta XD11, which ended production in 1984, making it at least just shy of 40 years old. Those extra decades inevitably mean those cameras are going to need servicing sooner rather than later. After a certain point, camera manufacturers included electronics in almost everything that they made. The good news is that there are still plenty of places to get a camera serviced. When was the last time your cameras were serviced? If at all, if ever. And sure, it used to be the case that often a CLA was more expensive than just finding a new camera. But I'm not sure if that holds true anymore, or if it's going to continue to hold true in the near future. Getting a camera serviced supports the film industry in a lot of ways. It's definitely something that's worth doing if you have the means. It keeps the repair portions of small businesses open, and that means they're fixing more cameras, and that means more cameras are in circulation for more people to be introduced to and enjoy film. And that's what's going to keep film alive for years to come, is more and more people enjoying it. Get your camera serviced, even if it doesn't necessarily need it. Just think of it as preventative maintenance, something that you would do in a car. That was point one. Point two is everybody's favorite topic, buying more gear. Really, this is just a reminder for you to do your research and know what you're getting yourself into. I know that often people are gifted cameras and you can find some really cool stuff thrifting. This is not that. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about intentionally purchasing a camera, not stumbling into one. There's definitely still tons of great deals to be had. I mean, eBay and Craigslist are full of people who don't know what they have. And so there's definitely calculated risks that you can take to get a good deal. Often cameras just need a new battery or just the contacts cleaned, but you should still know what you're getting into. I see it all the time online. What's the best film camera to start with? What camera should I buy for my first film camera? I bought this film camera and I don't know what's wrong with it. The days of always finding perfectly working cameras in great condition might be running out. We as a community really need to start being more upfront with newcomers about this sort of thing. The really good news is that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of film cameras that are still in circulation that are in working condition. I'm not trying to be nihilistic end of film days here, but I really think people just need to be prepared to send their camera in for a repair on day one. Sometimes this can work out in your favor. A cheap find plus a CLA might work out to less than what you would pay for a working camera. Out of the traditional 7 film cameras that I currently have in my possession, 5 of them have been sent out for repair. One more than once. And one of those cameras is completely broken and probably beyond repair. It's just that this isn't a topic that gets brought up enough. And I think after we recommend Canon AE1s and Pentax K1000s to people, we need to finish that up with, be prepared to have this camera fixed. It's not glamorous, it's not a fun topic to talk about, and I, again, really am not trying to be nihilistic here. I think this is something that's hopeful, but it's a reality that we need to make newcomers especially aware of. And again, to reiterate, getting your cameras repaired is a net positive for the film community. You should absolutely send them in. Even if they're not broken, send them in, have some preventative maintenance done. It is worth your time, worth your money. If you love film, it's worth it. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I will see you again next time. Yeah, you're probably also thinking, look at this guy, he's doing the negative feedback thing where he puts the camera in his window and goes out and shoots in the yard. Yeah, I am doing that. Got a new mic, just having fun.